We don't always get to pick the subject matter of what we're shooting, but in this case, our client is a collection of Porsches, the collection of Porsches
The collection of production.
ever on planet Earth, and
They would love to know that. I mean, they know it.
I think
to hear you say it is great.
I think it. But they brought Randy in, who's the expert on Porsche, to write the book, and for some reason Randy wanted to punish himself and brought me in.
The original concept of the book was that the Ingrams said that they had made every mistake they could make building their collection, and they wanted to do a book that gave people advice on how not to make those mistakes. So the original idea was I would write it, and then I was going to do available light photography like I do, and then had a project to finish before I could get back to them. And in that period of time, I kept sending them samples of things to look at because they didn't really know what they wanted for the book. And most of the samples I sent were done by this guy. So the next thing I know, the concept of the book has changed. It's still going to be how to keep people from making mistakes, but now they want studio photography. And there's only one. There's only one.
I never heard this story before. That's a lovely story. It's true. Is a very broad cross-section. I mean, there's hardly anything missing, and they all pale to the Gamont Coupe. Whenever you get back to the earliest of anything, the initial original car is the one that has the most personality of the people who created it. And what's interesting about the cover that we did is the cover is half Gamont Coupe and half newest car in the collection. And the similarities of the two cars are just staggering. And there was no manipulation to bring them in context to each other than both cars were presented in scale. And when you see the cars in scale, you start to understand that when they talk about DNA with a car, it's not just a name badge.
There's a form language
Yes.
that Erwin Commenda created when he did the Gamont Coupe. He started it with a car that came just before the war that was called the Type 64, which was basically a souped-up, modified, streamlined Volkswagen for racing. And that really set, in his mind, the shapes that he wanted to pursue. So the very first car that Porsche did was this open roadster, and even that started that form. But the Gamont Coupe is this organic, beautiful lump. And in the right light, this man's light, golden light at sunset or first light of day, the thing is just heartbreakingly beautiful.